It's summer, it's hot, so is the Bravo gossip. We've got, some tea about Andy Cohen. Is he cheating on his new partner, Kevin? We've got a lot of OC news. We've got a lot of Beverly Hills news. What else do we have today? Oh, yeah, Southern Charm, Married to Medicine, and more. And if you're looking for ad-free episodes and a way to support the podcast for $3 a month on Patreon, you can get all my episodes ad-free. Head over to patreon.com. And if you sign up on your computer as opposed to on the iOS app for Apple users, iPhone users, I should say, it will be less expensive because Apple adds like a iOS surcharge thing. All right, enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. So join me, Bravo and Botox, and we'll catch up on all the Bravo news and read way too much into our favorite shows and Bravo celebrities.
Hey y'all, Poodle and Maddie here from Reality Gaze.
Grab your favorite thong because for the first time, we're heading to the villa for the new season of Love Island USA.
I can't wait to watch Ariana babysit these shiny, oiled-up adults who I'm pretty sure aren't there for the right reasons.
From the home-wrecking bombshells to the absolute wreckage of movie night.
Pull up a daybed and join us every Wednesday for all the Love Island USA drama.
Find Reality Gaze wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bravo Papers, Bravo Weekly News, here with your host, Emily, also known as Bravo and Botox. And I have been back posting Twitter threads, roundups, so you can check those out. I'm trying to find like a balance so that I don't get overwhelmed, which has been kind of my issue, is getting overwhelmed and then walking away from everything instead of... Because I have this like all or nothing thing in my head where it's like I have to do it all 100% perfectionism or I don't do it at all. That's kind of my issue that I'm trying to, one of the many issues I'm dealing with. So, I am going to still post roundups, maybe not as frequently as I did before or for like every single show every week. I'm going to try to kind of like rotate it. Like if I do, the Valley this week and just say the Valley and Atlanta this week, then next week I would do like Next Gen and OC. So it just depends on like, or just like whatever I can without overwhelming myself. And I want to prioritize the podcast over that, obviously, because the podcast is more important to me, at least. And then obviously I would hope to you guys who are listening because you're here listening. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. If you're somebody who enjoys my roundups and like, I thought about stopping doing them altogether because I just couldn't handle it. And I just didn't want to do it anymore because I wasn't getting, like, it was just becoming, it was like a stressor for me, like another thing to do. But I think taking the pressure off of like having to do everything and all of them all the time, even if I really can't or I don't have time, is almost makes me like want to do it more and kind of brings me back to like the beginning when I just kind of did it like sporadically and for fun. And that's kind of what I want to go back to. And that already, just that mindset has already like kind of helped me. Like I've already like, I did like one for the Salt Lake City trailer and I did a couple for the Valley this week or last week. And yeah, so I think it's, so far so good. So go check those out. And I know some people might be like, oh, come on, that's like so easy. You're just doing a post. They literally like if I just say I did like a 5-part roundup of like the Valley, let's say, literally takes usually about 2 hours. I got to find them all, screenshot or screen record, then put the screen recording into Canva to get all the like comments and all that stuff out of it and make it the appropriate size for Instagram so they're all the same size. Then the captions, and it actually does take a lot. And then I got to tag everyone, and that takes time too. So, one day I actually paid attention to how long it took me to do one show, and it literally was 2 hours. So it is time. So yeah, it is, it's not that it's hard, but it's time consuming, right? And obviously I have a real life outside of this. So yeah, so that's what's going on. But go check out the ones I have up because I love the idea of people looking at them and laughing and it making their day better. Like that was really why I started doing it. And when I see people's comments and people laughing and like loving them, like it makes me so happy. Okay, so let's talk about Salt Lake City because the trailer came out. I thought it looked pretty good. Okay, I'm going to be a little critical. And I know, like, I feel like Salt Lake City got to such a high in, because of the season 4 and 5 of it all kind of thing. But I feel like because of that, it's like if you even try to criticize it, like people get so like, I don't know, sensitive about it. But, it's a franchise like any other. We're allowed to criticize it. I thought that the trailer looked good, but I did think it looked a little repetitive of last season, which I'm not that much looking forward to. And I think Salt Lake City need a little bit of a shakeup not in terms of like recasting. I think maybe they could add maybe a couple new people, like I know there's going to be one new person coming in the mix, but I think they could use like 2 new, like really good newbies. That would be good. I am looking forward to all like the divorce drama and stuff like that. But, you also need like the dynamics between the ladies. And that's what looks a little repetitive to last season for me. Now, that being said, it still looked pretty good. There was not much Meredith in it, which worried me a little at first. But then I remembered that Meredith really doesn't Meredith's like a Salt Lake City like robot who doesn't turn on until the second half of the season. Like the first half of the season, she always comes in trying to do this thing where she's like not going to let these women bait her. She always comes in like, I'm not letting anyone disturb my peace, and these bitches aren't going to get me this year. Like that kind of feels like her attitude every year. But then by the second half of the season, they always wear her down. And then she starts having her Meredith meltdowns. And, so that's why I think the first trailer doesn't have as much Meredith in it. Because historically, if you look back, that always happens. And then she's always like the star of the mid-season trailer because they don't like to put a lot of stuff from the end of the season in the mid-season trailer. So yeah, so I think we've got a lot coming. And kind of based on like, people getting divorced and that kind of stuff. And Lisa and Meredith kind of have already been implying that like, oh, everyone was trying to deflect using our relationships. Like, I do think we have some good stuff to go on there. Now, the other thing I was thinking about was Heather was not in the trailer that much. Like she was, but she wasn't in it like a lot, which that makes me happy because she bothers me. But, she's going to be there. Like they showed her in like this like leprechaun thing being like, what? It's St. Patrick's Day. It's not working, Heather. Like she's still 7 years in and Heather still comes off as a fan who's trying too hard and also a fan who is like kind of trying to take on other housewives, like personalities and stuff. And it just never works. Like this is so like she's trying to be like Shannon Bedore with the like, top of the morning to you. Like it's not working. Okay. Now Meredith wrote something interesting on Threads recently. And it said, question of the day, if someone gets a DUI, do you think they should be fired from their job? And it has everyone speculating, like, is she talking about someone from Salt Lake City? Did one of them get a DUI? If they did, and it was like this recently, I'm going to be kind of disappointed that it wasn't during filming. But maybe, well, I guess they'd be able to talk about it at the reunion. So that might be good because Salt Lake City reunions are never as good as the season. So maybe they could use something like that. But yeah, I need to know more. Okay. Now, meanwhile, I noticed as well there was a post on Instagram talking about Whitney and Justin living their separate lives. And Jack Barlow, Fudge College himself, commented and wrote Lisa and John with a like flexing muscle emoji and a goat emoji. So I guess it's so bad. It's so bad when you're like they're trying to pretend that they're not like Lisa and Meredith, but they so are making it into like a competition of like, our marriage has succeeded and theirs didn't. Like even your kid is is commenting. That being said, it's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. And I do, like, maybe unpopular opinion, I do think they a little bit like have the right to. And the only reason is because this cast has come after their marriages like a lot. And, you know, it's kind of like, okay, you're going to come after me and now I'm kind of going to get my comeuppance. It's still tacky. It's still so tacky and like mean. Don't get me wrong, but hilarious. And like kind of one of the reasons why Lisa and Meredith are good housewives. Salt Lake City coming back is like, for me, it's always kind of it's like, it's a bittersweet thing. Like it's sweet because I'm so excited for Salt Lake City, but it's bitter because it's sort of like, to me, it's like signifies the end of summer. It's literally like the show with like the snowflakes and stuff. And it's like winter is coming. Like it really is. And I'm just like so not ready to go back to winter in any way, shape, or form. Okay, let's go to some Beverly Hills news. So big news out of Beverly Hills is that Amanda Francis has announced that she is not returning to The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She says in a caption, "My time on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is complete. Saying yes to this show is one of the boldest, wildest, most clarifying things I've ever done. And I am genuinely grateful for the experience, the women, the viewers who saw me, rooted for me, challenged, blah, blah, blah." Okay, I'm not going to like read every detail because it's really long. But she said on August 18th, she's releasing Holy Fuck, a teaching memoir about God, desire, money, personal power, freedom, and becoming the woman you came here to be. That's a long title. Well, I guess that's like the description, but I hope she shortens it. She's marrying the love of her life this fall. I don't know. What else does she, anything else? Thank you for giving me this platform. So yeah, it was, you know, like a fairly gracious kind of announcement. You know, there was she made one little dig at the end. Say it with me. I win in the end, with a heart emoji. Which, I mean, in one way, with walking away, like she kind of left on like a high note, in the sense of like, I think the viewers were mostly on her side, you know, not that like everyone liked her so much, but people just felt like by the end she was being bullied a little bit. So she did kind of win back some favor with the audience, and she did pretty well at the reunion. I'm disappointed though. She was so like delusional and out there. Like I think she was a great housewife. Like she was a great delusional housewife. And the really, really delusional ones, they only come around, like they don't come around every day. Like they're all delusional to a point, but like the really, you know, like they're, you know, you can't just like pick them up at the corner store. Like those, you got to hold on to them. So I'm kind of sad that she's leaving. And Beverly Hills needed someone like her. Like they needed that personality. That's a personality that they just really don't have in the mix. I mean, I guess they have Dorit, but she's kind of like changed her whole personality as of late. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed and like a little worried about Beverly Hills. Like Amanda was like the only interesting thing last season. I'm kind of like, where do they go from here? Like they better find some new interesting people, because who they have left is not it. Like I'm not interested in Kyle, Dorit, Bose, Erica. Like they've just also played out. They're all just like banging the same drum that they've been banging for 5 years about their divorces and whatever. And it's like, I don't care about like Bose and Keely. Like I don't know, like that's boring. Like it's just, we need we need to shake things up like big time in Beverly Hills. So I don't know. I hope that they have some sort of contingency plan. I am also surprised she's not returning, because I know Andy was a fan of hers and they wanted her to return, but maybe she just truly just didn't want to do it. I don't know. Maybe she just felt like, if I come back, these ladies are all going to come for me, which she's not wrong. That's possible. I think that they would have gone easier on her in her second season, especially if there was a different newbie. So you never know. But I mean, you do kind of get thrown to the wolves with this franchise when you're a new person a lot of the time. Now, speaking of Beverly Hills, that wasn't a good transition. I'm sorry. But Bose was doing an interview on BET. on the Jason Lee show. And he asked her a question that had a lot of people talking, okay? I'm going to read you the question and then you will understand why. So they're talking about Beverly Hills, and he said to her, "Why'd you let all those white women run Garcelle away?" Listen, I think it's a fair question. I mean, it is a fair question. And I think a lot of the audience, especially the Black audience, was thinking about that and had that question. I saw that a lot on Twitter and on Threads and everywhere last season. It was a big point of discussion. Not last season, the season when Garcelle got pushed out. It was a big point of discussion. And, I do think that no one has really talked or asked Bose about that in like kind of such a direct way. Now she handles the question very well. Like she's media trained. Like there's no doubt about that. But basically, what did she say? She says, I believe, like, this is just kind of like a summary, but she says, I believe it was fundamentally the breakdown of her relationship with Sutton. So she doesn't like address like the racial aspect of it. She just brings it back to the relationship with Sutton and sort of, I guess she's saying like the reason that Garcelle left was because of the downfall of her and Sutton. It wasn't because I let all these women kind of whatever, which, listen, I don't think that she is necessarily like responsible for Garcelle leaving, nor should that blame be put on her because she's the only other Black woman on the show. But I do think that a lot of the viewers felt like, I think they felt like Bose joined in on the pile-on. I think that's what people were upset about. Instead of kind of giving Garcelle the benefit of the doubt or, maybe sticking up for her a little bit. I think people were kind of like, were annoyed by that, right? Which I can understand. I can totally understand why people felt that way. My hair grows incredibly slow. And after I had my daughter, I experienced a lot of hair falling out, thinning, and just even slower growth. So a lot of people told me that I should take certain vitamins, I should cut it more, stop using my straightener, all this stuff. But spoiler alert, none of those things worked. And that's why I'm loving Basque and Lather products. They don't subscribe to this like one size fits all method. Basque and Lather knows that each person is an individual and is unique, and so is their hair. I went on their website when I ordered my first products, and they have a hair quiz. It was really helpful in seeing exactly what my hair needs are and which products would actually help me. So I ended up getting the Basque and Lather Scalp Stimulator, and I love it. I've been using it for about a month, and I'm already seeing more hair growth and fullness in the sparse spots. Another thing I love about Basque and Lather, besides the amazing products, is that they're Black owned and family operated. When a dermatologist misdiagnosed CEO Shayna's younger sister and said her hair may never grow back, the family took things into their own hands. Today, her hair is down to her hips. Shayna and her mother researched and formulated their own scalp and hair oil to stimulate growth and retain length. I mean, we love that. We love women-owned businesses. We love Black-owned businesses. We just love it. So explore viral bestsellers and products of healthier hair of all types from Basque and Lather. Go to basqueandlatherco.com and use Bravo Papers for 20% off. That's 20% off at basqueandlatherco.com, code Bravo Papers. As many of you know, my daughter is a beyond picky eater, and I often worry she's not getting the vitamins and nutrients that she needs. But recently I got the opportunity to try Haya Kids vitamins. Well, not me. She got the opportunity. And finally, I have found something that she actually likes with the nutrients she needs, and it's such a weight off my back. My daughter loves the taste of them, and the best part is they have 0 sugar. Most kids' multivitamins have like 7 grams of sugar or more, and these having 0 is amazing, and she still loves the taste and is actually excited for them every day. The other thing I love about them is that they're actually made around what modern kids are actually eating these days or not eating, and formulated around those specific nutritional gaps. The ingredient list is also clean, non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free. They've really thought of everything. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/Bravo Papers. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/Bravo Papers and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Okay, so in other Beverly Hills news, Dorit is being, I don't know, called out. I don't even know how to say this, but she's being called out for allegedly spending $250,000 while in Paris on luxury vacation as Encino home faces foreclosure. I mean, this feels like a PK, what's it called? PR move. But it actually kind of comes from that lawyer guy, Ronald Richards, although who knows whose pocket he's in. But he says Dorit / Paul Kemsley family law case update. This has been going, okay, whatever. Paul is there, PK's there in person. Dorit appeared without any video. Paul's attorneys have been trying all day to settle. Dorit spent $250K while in Paris. They are close to a deal. Dorit has been very difficult and unreasonable. Like, I'm really wondering if this guy is in PK's pocket. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, he's like an online, like, kind of, he's an attorney who posts on Instagram all the time, who, you know, he can be bought. Let's just say that. Okay. Paul has offered to bring things current if she moves out. Dorit has no money for the electric bill. Dorit is used to getting what she wants, but not today. She has no choice but to settle. She can't litigate a case while having croissants in France. Like, that's a very, like, I don't know. That sounds very like something PK would say. The electricity bill is holding up the settlement. Dorit wants it paid today. PK said no, 30 days. Dorit is stuck in France. The attorneys are in shock that the deal can unravel over a utility bill. Stay tuned. This is exhausting. Dorit will end up having her attorneys withdraw. Okay, so listen, do I believe that Dorit is a problem and has a spending problem? Absolutely. I'm not even a Dorit fan. Like, I don't even like Dorit. So it's not like I'm here like trying to defend her. I just don't take everything at face value. Like, I'm not going to read this and be like, this is the 100% truth, especially when the person is writing it with such a bias of like, you can't pay your bill when you're eating croissants in France. Like, it just sounds, it doesn't sound like you're just stating facts. Like, you're adding like heavy bias to it. So yeah, that would be my kind of antennas going up for like, is this like a PR thing kind of? Because everything is a PR thing is what I've kind of learned from all these years of watching Bravo and now doing this news and stuff. But that being said, you know, I think they both have addictions that need to be dealt with. PK's got his addictions, Dorit has hers, and they both need help. That's really, and of course it led to a disastrous marriage. You know, you have an alcoholic / gambleaholic with a shopaholic. Like, that has nowhere to go but disaster. Like, literally disaster. Okay, we have a little bit of an update here on the Anna Marie Wiley news story. So, you know, trigger warning, because this does talk about domestic violence. There's no like description of violence or anything like that, but just about kind of the legal battle, etc. So she says that her ex Marcellus violated the temporary restraining order, and basically she says the fact that Marcellus continues to violate the court's orders makes me very afraid. I was intimidated and my peace was disturbed. So she said this in legal paperwork that was filed at the end of July, so July 23rd. So basically she had a temporary restraining order on him that I think started at the start of July, like July 5th or something like that. However, despite the restraining order and him having to be 500 meters away from her, 500 feet. He must not be within 500 feet. That makes more sense of his estranged wife. But she says that basically he showed up to their son's tournament for 3 days. It's like a 3-day tournament that started on July 6th, where he knew she would be. So on July 7th, she called the police. So he wasn't supposed to be contacting the children. And she says, quote, after being served with the TRO, he continued to have contact with our children. Also, he called her on WhatsApp at 4:30 a.m. on July 9th. He interacted with the children, came within approximately 15 to 20 feet of her, even though he's ordered to remain at least 100 yards away from her. Her new claims also allege that he's been texting and calling their son. And she says he believes he's intentionally communicating with the children to show her that he can access them, that he's in control of the communication, not the court. And he's, going to use these conversations to gain information about where she is, what she's doing, where she's going. So yeah, he's trying to manipulate the children and the situation, probably so he can know where she is, because he's obviously like a psychotic, controlling, abusive person. So he's trying to it's kind of like stalking, right? Like he's like stalking her and trying to figure out where she is. And maybe he's trying to figure out, a moment or a place where she's isolated, or, you know what I mean? Which is very stressful. Marcellus' lawyer said when Anna Marie called the authorities, the police did nothing, adding that his client did not violate the order. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like I hate to say this, but it's true. But, we kind of saw this on Real Housewives of Atlanta with Sheree. If you don't watch, Sheree had a lot of issues during her divorce because people loved him as a football star. So like even in court, like she said that there was a court hearing where the judge was like, said something to him about his football career. Like, oh, I love watching you, or your great season. You know what I mean? And, they get preferential treatment because they're known and they're athletes. And I could see that happening here. Like I could see, maybe Marcellus being like, come on, guys, like to the cops. And like, I'm sorry, it happens. It happens all the time. Okay. She says, I do not want to keep our children away indefinitely from their father, but he must work on himself and at least demonstrate that he's able to follow court orders. His repeated violations are not an accident, it's abuse. And yeah, she's right. Okay, so hopefully that gets sorted, or hopefully he doesn't keep violating. And I think the orders, and I think she needs to keep going public with it as much as possible, just to keep more eyes on him and, kind of help to hopefully enhance her safety, because it's a very scary situation, like really scary. God, I would freaking hire a full-time bodyguard or something. I mean, geez. But again, it's like you shouldn't have to do that, and you shouldn't have to live in like that kind of state, but it's crazy. Speaking of abusive exes, Denise was on a podcast recently and gave us, some more tidbits about what happened with her and Aaron and when she started to notice the abuse. She said that for the beginning of their relationship, like prior to being married and him having his green card, there were no signs. Like she says that he was kind and all this kind of stuff. And once they got married and he got his green card, then things changed. So isn't that funny that he, like the second he got that and he was like, quote unquote, secure? Because this man is very, he's manipulative, like he's thinking everything through, right? Because if he gets like a domestic violence charge or something like that, and he doesn't have a green card, he could be deported back to Canada. Which, I hate that he's from Canada. He's making us look bad here, but he's, there's abusers in every country in the world, unfortunately. But yeah, he knew what he was doing. Like he knew what he was doing. He knew if he hit her or anything before he had the green card or before he had married her, she probably wouldn't have married him. And he could have had to leave the country. And clearly his plan was to take advantage of her, abuse her financially, physically, emotionally, in all these different ways that he did, and put up his good for nothing family as well. So she says, it was even like, she says it was a slow burn. Like it wasn't like he went from 0 to 100. It was like a slow progression. Like it first became like small things, like him criticizing her a lot. Like, and this was after he got the green card. And then like saying mean things, kind of that verbal, emotional abuse. And then, she said she was really shocked the first time that he laid hands on her because, like, again, she didn't see it coming, and I think a lot of people are like, well, sometimes people victim blame, or they're like, how did you not see the red flags? And da-da-da. It's like, these guys, like, they know what they're doing. Like, a lot of abusers, not just guys, but any abusers, like, they know what they're doing. That is like the grooming process and like the process of like pulling the person in and making them feel all these things so that they have you trapped. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm glad Denise is away for this guy. I hope, Anna Marie can get away from her guy too, and that they can both have safety and peace. Okay, let's go to some Real Housewives of Orange County news. There's been this story floating around about Brianna, actually, Vicky's daughter, and Andy, and saying she wanted nothing to do with filming, etc. So, okay, this was the original quote. They were asking Vicky about like Brianna making like a couple appearances on the show. And Vicky says, my daughter wants nothing to do with it. Her husband just got back from the Marine Corps, 6 tours overseas, and he's got some PTSD, and they really showed a bad light of him. She was just like, Mom, I want nothing to do with it. I'm like, can you do a cameo? Can you come on for a little bit? Andy even called her for this season, and she was like, please lose my number. Okay, so that was Vicky's retelling of it. Which I guess wasn't exactly the truth, according to Andy and Brianna. So Andy on his, radio show, and I mean, we all know like Vicky's crazy, so this is a definite possibility. So Andy on his radio show was like, so he said, so Brianna and I had a side conversation this morning, and she's like, I don't know where this rumor started. And basically, you and I had a lovely conversation. We reminisced or whatever. And yes, she declined, and Andy asked if she would come on, but it wasn't like lose my number, like that was never said according to him. And I believe Andy in this case, because I mean, it's Vicky, let's be honest. So yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, Vicky kind of making it out like, it sounds like Vicky has some bad feelings about how her son-in-law was portrayed and how Brianna was portrayed last time they were on the show. I mean, listen, the guy seems like an asshole, not because of the PTSD. I actually think his reaction to that woman on the couch may have been like, he may have complex PTSD, which can make people violent or like very scary or like have these like kind of aggressive reactions. But I do think that he does also kind of give off the like, the Trump, I don't know, like that stereotype. And him and Brianna have gone down like a crazy kind of road. Like if you've ever like followed their Instagram and their social media at any point, like they've kind of gone off the rails. So So, I do think he's also, it seems like he's got problems and is not the nicest person. So yeah, I do think that it's kind of good for them to not appear on the show. I don't think we don't need them. We're good. We're good. Recently in my home, I had this really awkward space that I needed a small console table for. In my hallway, right where the stairs are, there's this corner with just nothing. I thought about doing a planter or something, but my husband wanted something where he could just like throw his keys and sunglasses when we came in from the door. But it's such a weird space that needs the exact measurements for a corner console, but thank God for Wayfair. I could put in the minimum or maximum height, width, depth, search corner console, and I got so many options, and I found one that works perfectly. The other thing I love about Wayfair is the quality. You can shop with Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to durable pieces hand vetted by product specialists using a 10-point quality inspection, testing things like quality of materials, functionality and features, and even how long it takes to build. You can get quality, but you don't need to overspend. And you can read more than 20 million verified 5-star reviews from real shoppers. Join Wayfair Rewards today to get 5% back on every purchase and start saving on your next home upgrade. Head to wayfair.com to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Does anyone else feel like August is the Sunday of summer? It's the perfect time to hit reset before the autumn rush, and for me, that always starts with my wardrobe. Quince proves you don't need a crowded closet to look incredible. You just need the right pieces. Quince specializes in effortless, high-quality essentials like ultra-soft organic cotton and premium Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They're beautifully tailored, built to last, and transition seamlessly from morning meetings to dinner. Quince also has premium stretch denim starting at just $50 with the kind of perfect fit, structure, and weight you'd expect from a luxury designer brand. I continually wear my Quince Bella Stretch wide leg jeans. I'm obsessed. They're probably my most reached for item in my closet. They're so comfortable and the most high quality denim I've ever owned without the price. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/Bravo Papers. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Bravo Papers. Does anyone else still get that back to school shopping feeling when summer starts winding down? Something about this time of year always makes me want to refresh my closet and get back into a good routine. The only challenge is figuring out what to wear when it's 85 degrees outside but freezing inside. So I've been reaching for lightweight layering pieces lately. That's one of the reasons I love shopping at Fabletics. They have so many pieces that are perfect for this in-between season. And if you're new to Fabletics, becoming a VIP unlocks major savings on your first purchase, which makes refreshing your wardrobe a whole lot more affordable. When I signed up as a new VIP with Fabletics, I got 70 to 80% off everything. One of the first things I bought was a pair of high-rise denim pants. Yes, denim. I didn't really think of Fabletics as a denim company, but oh my God, it's so soft, comfortable, and flattering. It's also great for us curvy gals. The quality honestly surprised me. Fabletics pieces feel like premium, but without the price tag. Soft, breathable, actually built to last. I'll be living in these jeans all summer and going into fall. I can dress them up for work and down for after or on weekends when I'm running errands. Shop now at fabletics.com/Bravo Papers to get 70 to 80% off everything when you sign up as a new VIP. Take a quick style quiz and be sure to select Bravo Papers when prompted to unlock this offer. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Again, that's fabletics.com/Bravo Papers for 70 to 80% off everything as a new VIP. So there's also been this whole like drama and controversy around something that maybe happened at the Quiet Woman with like Shannon, Andy, and the like, you know, the whole RHUGT thing with all the women coming together to at the Quiet Woman. So basically, Kelly Dodd claimed that Shannon Bedore was upset over the bill at the Quiet Woman. Okay, so she alleged that Shannon was angry about the $500 bill after she, Andy Cohen, and several housewives dined at the Quiet Woman, questioning why Shannon expected the meal to be comped. So basically the claim is that she was upset because she thought they were going to like comp the entire bill, which you should never expect a bill to be comped. It doesn't matter. Like, I see this a lot on TikTok and other places. You get these influencers who think because they're going to a restaurant and, it's going to get lots of views and it's going to give it a lot of attention, that you should get to eat for free, or that there's like some sort of exchange, like a business exchange. Unless the business reaches out to you and says, please come and have a dinner here, I will pay for your bill. Unless they say those words, it's not promised, nor is it implied. These are businesses, and a lot of times small businesses, not like these. This is not like, Applebee's. Like, we're talking about like small businesses. And yes, has the quiet woman gotten a lot of attention in business because of Shannon throwing her plate and all that kind of stuff? Yes. But again, like, that was like a happenstance. Like, they didn't sign up for that. That was, yes, they're reaping benefits, but that doesn't mean they owe you for the rest of their lives. Like, they don't owe you their firstborn child. So now, if that's true, now Andy later explained on his radio show that he handled the bill. He happily paid it, left a generous tip. And he said as he was leaving, the general manager told him the dinner was actually on the quiet woman, and they were planning to tear up the bill. And Andy said he didn't want that to happen because he wanted the server to receive the tip. Well, you can still tip the server on a comped bill. Yeah, okay. Like, I was in the hospitality for like 10 years, and I had that happen before. And it was like, often if somebody, like a friend of the owner or manager came in, the bill would be like comped like down to nothing. And, they tip you on like what the total would have been if they're a good human. Some people, though, to be fair to Andy, some people, if they don't see what the total is, you might not get as much as you would have. So maybe that's what he means, which makes me respect Andy more. But yeah, he never mentioned Shannon being upset and kind of like pushes back on Kelly's version of events. Now, Shannon has shared her side in an interview, saying she did believe comping the meal would have been business 101, considering Andy and 6 housewives were dining there. She also acknowledged that the restaurant later backtracked and told Andy the meal was on them. But was that because you freaked out, Shannon? Like, now I'm like starting to believe, and like, I don't take anything Kelly Dodd says as fact because she's a psychopath. But now I'm starting to believe, like, obviously this rumor came from somewhere. Like, this wasn't just like pulled out of nowhere, because now we're hearing from Andy and Shannon. I bet Shannon had a freak out, and then it was too late. Like, she probably like was like, okay, people are coming to my hood and they're coming to the quiet woman. That's my place. So, it's going to be comped and blah, blah, blah. And then when it wasn't, she was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, and maybe had a little freak out. And then they were like, you know what? It is comped. We're sorry, like, whatever. And then Andy was like, no, it's fine. Like, I wanted to pay the bill. Like, I took some housewives out for dinner. I have gajillions of dollars. That's what really pisses me off, is like, all these people have so much money. Like just rich people are, a lot of rich people, not all, but a lot of them are extremely cheap. And I'm sorry, that's just a fact. And a lot of them will be like, well, that's how I stay rich. No, it's not. It's because you inherited family money and you've got all these investment portfolios and shit. Like, shut up. Okay, so that was Shannon's side. Now, to add to Kelly Dodd's version of events, an RHOC producer commented saying it's most wild to see her go from absolutely losing her shit, yelling, screaming, and cussing at producers and crew right before the cameras turn on, and then she instantly clicks into this tired old performative shtick, one of the most miserable and narcissistic housewives across the entire brand. Yeah, I believe that. I've always believed that. I've always believed Shannon is a complete nightmare. I mean, I think she's a nightmare on the show, and that's like probably her like putting on her quote unquote best. But I'm sure she's way worse behind the scenes. Like, clearly she is. Like, the whole, like, her being recorded by Katie, like, there's just too much evidence. There's been too much evidence. The whole thing with the guy who was the host of Love Hotel. Here's the thing, though. Listen, we all have to pay a price sometimes for entertainment. I'm really sorry. Bravo needs to give bonuses to everyone who works with Shannon Bedore. Okay, make up for their and they need free psychiatry or therapy. Yeah, that's it. Because like it's a lot of good entertainment. I feel so guilty saying that. But she's given us so much good TV. It's tough. It's tough. And I know, like, I believe them. I believe them wholly that she's a nightmare. She needs a talking to for sure. Like, here's what they need. They need, if you act like super badly towards behind the scenes people, this is what I would do. I would penalize them. Like, they do that with social media use. Like, Candace said she was fined for like tweeting stuff like that she shouldn't have been tweeting or whatever. So we should be fining, like, every time Shannon treats someone badly, she should get a fine, like $30,000. Like, it should be a big fine so that she keeps her shit together. Because clearly money is the only thing that's going to change Shannon in this case, in my opinion. Because otherwise she just keeps getting rewarded. She keeps getting contracts. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. All right, let's get into some Married to Medicine news because we have a little rumor that is floating around about Sweet Tea and Dr. Gregory getting divorced. Okay, so people are speculating that they're getting divorced because Sweet Tea scrubbed Dr. Gregory from her Instagram and they unfollowed each other. Ooh, now that could happen when a couple gets into a fight or an argument. Like, you know, you just get pissed off and you're like, I'm unfollowing you, archive all my posts that have you in them. And then you get back together and you make up and, you know, it kind of like, what's his name? David Beador and his younger woman who, you know, they just kind of like, they go and file for divorce every time they get into a fight and then they take it back. Like, I'm not saying it's a healthy relationship. It's like super toxic. But here's the thing. Like, it's only a matter of time before Sweet Tea was going to see the real side of him. Like, he's an abusive man. Like, he was abusive to Quad. And it's not like he's magically just going to change overnight. Like, he's going to do the same thing to her. You know, like, yeah. And again, like, he was looking for a woman like her who would ignore those signs, who would ignore what women were telling her and listen to the guy instead. And that's exactly what happened. And I hope she's safe. And I hope that that is not the case. And that maybe he's just, you know, being an asshole that, you know, for her safety's sake. But am I surprised? No, I don't think. It's hard for me to believe that Dr. Gregory like could ever make a long-term relationship work. Like, he's just not a good guy. He's just not. All right, let's talk about some Southern Charm news because Shep Rose is coming out with a memoir. And he is opening up about a lot of stuff that has happened kind of behind the scenes since he's been on this show. And it sort of ties in with, like, you know, I've been talking about on here that him and Taylor might be getting back together. There seems to be like hints at that. But I'll give you a few things, you know, that have come out of his book, which is called Nothing in Moderation. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Shep, but that's a good title. I'll give him that. It's a good title. It's way better than Carl's Cake Eater one. That one, like, I get what he was going for, and that was like a thing from his whatever, but, you know, as many people pointed out, it didn't really make the most sense for his situation. So Shep admits in the book that he was drunk the entire BravoCon. So this was the BravoCon, not last year's, but not the one last year, but the one before that. And they had talked about this at the reunion and it got very emotional, I remember. So again, not last year's reunion, but the one before, you know, even Andy was kind of like, you could tell Andy was like concerned. Like, he was like, we're really like worried, like you have a problem. It was that kind of talk. He says he was drunk the entire event. He did cocaine with strangers on a couple of nights. He also blew off a high-level Bravo executive before scrambling to fix it once he realized who he was talking to. And then he got into a screaming match with Craig Conover. Well, that doesn't help. So I guess he maybe blew off or gave attitude to a Bravo executive and then realized who they were. Oh, that's bad. He says that he didn't want to or know how to say no to anything that was offered. Girls, drugs, liquor. Says he had one night stands during his relationship and just hoped no one would ever post a picture of him. I mean, I think when you're like using cocaine and drinking and stuff, you do throw caution to the wind. Like he was probably doing those things and just being like, all right, hopefully it doesn't get out there. Like, he says he was a bad guy, in his own words, that he was piss poor morally. And then he talks about the guilt. He says that Taylor was right about him. He says she was right. I thought I was some sort of rock star. He says he's carrying real guilt over his 2-year relationship with Taylor. By his own account, he cheated, partied constantly, sent her home in Ubers while he stayed out with the nightlife crowd. God, why did she put up with that for so long? I mean, I think people like, and, coming from experience, having a family member who's struggled with addiction, like you make a lot of excuses when you love someone. You'll put up with more than you think when someone is going through something, and then unless like it becomes clear that they will not change, they will not get help. I wonder if Taylor was kind of hanging on to that hope maybe. I also think there's a little bit of like, I think she was a little like, oh, he's famous and tall and, and she doesn't seem like I don't know, she doesn't seem like the brightest. And she does kind of have that, like, what's it called? Pick me kind of energy. So yeah, that all those things could play in. That doesn't mean she deserved how Shep treated her, because she did not. So other things that he talks about, I thought about how much she loved me. I could just see it in her eyes every day and in her arms and kisses. During a week-long ayahuasca trip in Costa Rica, Shep says his mind kept returning to Taylor and what their relationship actually meant to him. He says she lit up a room and made everyone feel happy around her. Every one of my friends was crazy about her and us. He wrote that he was never scared to lose her. Well, I mean, you wouldn't be, because number one, he thought he was some kind of rock star. So him and those guys have, are under the impression that, and I think to some extent still are, that they can do whatever they want and that the lineup of girls is never ending. And I think Shep finally realized, I could be wrong, but I do think he realized that the line is getting shorter and less desirable in his eyes. I'm not putting down any woman, but I think Shep wants, because he's Shep, he wants a super hot 10 out of 10 younger woman to be on his arm. I think that what happened with Sienna rattled like the fuck out of him. And I think, guys, especially guys like Shep, they go through these phases where they're like, getting younger chicks, doing drugs, drinking. And then eventually it starts to catch up with them and it starts to wear on them physically. And they also get to the age which Shep is at where it stops being like the cool guy and it starts being like the weird older guy. And then the younger girls start being like, oh my God, he's like my dad. And then they're like, oh shit. And then they realize that they better lock down someone, hopefully someone that they actually like, because, it's going to, like, the options are going to keep dwindling. Will there probably always be random girls who will hook up with Shep just because he's famous and has money? Yes. But again, like, I think he probably wants someone who actually like cares about him and is not just going to put up with him for the money. And I think he's realizing that kind of girl, or a girl like that is, those are not like, there's not like a lineup of those necessarily. So, I think he's kind of and Austin will get there too. Austin's not there yet, but Austin will get there. I think Charlie as well was the other nail in the coffin for Shep. Like, I think he just realized, like, I cannot pull girls like Charlie and Sienna anymore. Like, I just can't. They're like, maybe I can get some like hot girls for like a one night stand or so. Like, I think that kind of rattled him, because Charlie said something about like, oh yeah, but he's like my dad. Like and he was like, fuck. Like, I think I think that reality kind of hit him, which good. I've been waiting for it, and he deserves every minute of it, by the way. So also, by the way, I'm not like saying all this trusting that Shep has changed. You can have all these realizations and still not change because it's very hard to break old habits, especially addiction. It's going to take time. Could take him a while to but kind of realizing and thinking about these things is, I guess, the first step. I don't know. So if I was Taylor, I would tread very lightly, like very, very lightly, because you have to watch out because he could still go back to his old ways. And a lot of guys do that. Like they get you back and then they're great for like a few months and then they go back to their old shit. So, I mean, I would be not going near him unless he was going to not ayahuasca, not Costa Rica, actual rehab. And that's what is also bothering me about this is like, I'm not seeing this man clearly has addiction issues, in my opinion, and I'm not seeing any mention of actual rehab. So I'm kind of side-eyeing this. Like, is this all like a PR thing? Yeah. Okay, so he says he was never scared to lose her. Now says that's maybe the thing he needed to feel. He said he did stay close with her family. He had lunch with Taylor's mother, Leslie, and her sister, Katie, that they checked in on him over the years. And he believes it's partly because they see pieces of she sees partly pieces of her late son, Richard, in him. So Richard died in 2023 at age 36. And, I think it's been reported that it was an overdose. So again, that obviously adds to why Taylor has a lot of patience for Shep because she probably sees that in him. As much as you hate someone, like you don't want them to die. And that's the thing, like all it takes is one time of like using a stranger's cocaine that could have God knows what in it, right? So you just never know. Okay, so he goes on about how she's supported his book's release and has kind of like stood by him, but he doesn't like make it clear that they're back together, nor has he in interviews, but he's implied that they're like hanging out. That's kind of, and he posted a picture of him like with her family at a lunch or whatever. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about from here that's interesting is that he got a call from Andy after that BravoCon. Now, we kind of heard about this at the reunion from that year, but this gives us a little more detail. So basically, Andy called Shep directly. Uh-oh, that's when you know you're in trouble. Shep says he answered sheepishly and was told something needed to change after an internal Watch What Happens Live staff email went around about his behavior. Shep says he agreed and expressed remorse. And by the season 9 reunion, he realized the lifestyle was catching up to him and felt genuinely scared for the first time in over 20 years. Yeah, but I mean, okay, rehab, we're going to be doing that. Maybe he has, and I just don't know about it, and maybe it'll be talked about on the next season. But until I see rehab from Shep, I'm going to be side-eyeing because that man needs real therapy. I'm getting really sick of all these guys and the ayahuasca thing. I'm not saying that it can't be a therapeutic thing or that it can't be a tool or kind of like a complement or like side tool to therapy. Like I'm not getting down on it, but it shouldn't be a replacement. Like it's not a replacement for years of therapy. It's not a replacement for drug rehab. Like it doesn't give you the long term. It might make you like, maybe it makes you realize things and get clarity on things, which great. But then after that, you also need tools to continue because there's a reason that it's an everyday battle, one day at a time, all that kind of stuff. Like it's not magically cured. And I don't know if Shep has had that realization yet. Okay, our last story is kind of a just general Bravo news. Really, it's about Andy Cohen, who doesn't usually find himself in the middle of the drama, but he is this week. So, okay, this former reality star, what show was he on? Hang on. Oh, I had it and then I forgot. Oh, shoot. Okay. He was on Finding Prince Charming. His name is Robert Sepulveda Jr. I'm really bad with pronouncing names, as you all know. Okay, so he called out Andy on Instagram. he basically posted like a warning targeting Andy's boyfriend, Kevin, with alleged receipts from July 8th, 2026. Okay. So he posted this like, it's like a picture of Andy and Kevin. And then, it's like he used AI to put like clown hair and clown shoes and clown nose on Andy Cohen. And then it said, "Heads up, Kevin, a little message for you. Clown behavior alert." And then it's all like this like spray paint stuff. And then he said in his caption, "Aren't we all exhausted by people who lie, cheat, and pretend to be someone they're not? Trash comes in all shapes and sizes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why I'm single." Then he posts a DM from Andy, allegedly from July 8th, saying, "Hey, Kevin, just wanted to give you a heads up." Oh, sorry. I messed that up. He posts the DM that he sent Kevin about Andy. Okay. So, "Hey, Kevin, just wanted to give you a heads up. Andy is on Field." So Field is a dating app, if you don't know, but it's for people who just want like casual and hookup, or who might be into like specific like kinks and stuff like that. Like it's not like for like long-term relationship type of dating. Andy is on Field with an anonymous profile. I have a profile there too, but my face is hidden. He actually messaged me thinking I was someone else. Once I told him it was me, I've known him for about 10 years. He said it would be dangerous if anything happened because I've been on a few TV shows. If you two have an open relationship, then no worries at all. If not, I'd probably pay attention because he's clearly looking for something else. Andy has always been a bit of a philanderer. Well, to be fair, Andy's never had a relationship until now. So, like, I guess you can still be a philanderer, but like, it's not like he was betraying, like he was allowed to like sleep with multiple people. Like he wasn't committed to anyone until now. So I don't know. Like, I guess he's saying like, he's not the type who's going to like settle down for you or whatever. Here's the name of the app along with the voice memo I sent him before I blocked him. Good luck. And then he posts a screenshot of the voice message and the date of it, which again doesn't really prove anything because you could just send him, like, it's just a white screen with Andy Cohen voice message. Well, I guess it's that he got one from Andy Cohen. So that would, no, because he said I sent it to him. The voice memo I sent him before I blocked him. Yeah, you could send that to anyone and then just say, like, the real receipt would be like screenshots of what Andy said and proof that that's Andy's account. Maybe he did and he just didn't show those. Now, he also tagged Andy and Kevin in the post. Yikes. Here's my question. Why is he posting this like publicly? And also he says, I don't know if you guys are in an open relationship. So why wouldn't you find that out first before like calling him out? Because a lot of gay men, not a lot, or I don't even know, but some gay men in relationships have open relationships. That's not unheard of. It's even becoming more popular amongst straight couples as well. I watch couples therapy, okay? I see the open relationship people. No, but I have heard that as well. Like I know gay friends who have open relationships. So I'm kind of like, it's not like crazy. Like it's a possibility. Could Andy be cheating? Absolutely. But again, I wouldn't be shocked if he was in an open relationship. Like that wouldn't shock me about Andy Cohen. That would actually, to me, that would make, just based on what we've learned about Andy over the years, I would expect him to probably want to be in a relationship with someone who's okay with an open relationship. And then going on Field makes sense because you're hooking up with people who are looking for just hookups and stuff and not looking for like commitment. So it's like, this is the person I'm committed to. This is my primary person or whatever. And then these are my like side people who I sleep with. I even listened to a really interesting podcast episode recently, and the guest was a gay man who's been in an open relationship for over 20 years. And he was kind of talking about the ins and outs of it and the complexities of it and, you know, how it's worked for them and all this kind of stuff. Anyways, you know, not for everyone, but for some. So I just think this is like a bit of like jumping the gun. And I think I did see that he went on and was kind of like, this guy was kind of like defending and explaining why he would out this. And he was getting a lot of criticism from it, which I think he deserves. Like, it doesn't seem like you're really that concerned for someone. It seems like you were posting this for clout and you wanted everyone to be like, oh my God, I hate cheaters and you're the hero. Like, I think he was trying to go for like some hero attention kind of clout online. That's what it feels like to me. Okay, I think that's all we've got for today. And look out for a new episode coming out soon where I'm going to have a special guest on. And yeah, we're going to have a great time talking about Summer House and the Valley and all the shows that you love to talk about. All right, everyone, you are now in the know for everything Bravo. Bye.